And that is what makes this a very successful economic development and creates, again, a magnet for jobs and a magnet for industry. Next component is one that's also kind of right in the works and almost shovel-ready if you're thinking about a giant boring machine, and that's the CP's new tunnel. The CP needs to build a new tunnel, needs to dig a new tunnel because the CP Railroad Tunnel, which currently comes out down near the Michigan Central Terminal, is too small for modern rail operation. They need to have a full-size, single, modern rail tube. They're preparing to do that, and the approximate cost, roughly speaking, is about $500 million to bore that tunnel. But that's a huge economic advantage for us if we do something about it. The critical thing for us, back over to the rest of these components, is to understand the significance of the freight villages. Because if we don't, then the freight comes to here faster than ever and keeps on going. And none of the value gets captured here. So we need to think of ourselves as logistics value providers. And once we do that, we can then think of ourselves in terms of the manufacturing advantage that also will simultaneously create for us, because it will be the easiest way to and from global markets to the center part of North America and be right through here. We're it. Finally, another piece that I would like to highlight is an electric road train connector. The technology is very close for induction charging. Road trains, if any of you are familiar with Australia, road trains are typically 105 meters long. They have multiple trailers, and they can move a lot of freight very efficiently at low speeds, but efficiently in an area where they don't require climbing any big mountains. And we're it. We're perfect in that respect. The road train is neat because it provides the ability to do the intermodal movements from rail to truck to go inside that overall network that I described to you, that whole system of Southeast Michigan as a freight center, without having to switch from one railroad to another, without having to switch from one track to another. All of those things are extremely time-consuming and costly. In fact, they can come right straight off at a one rail yard, go onto road trains, and be distributed anywhere in those series of freight villages that we build throughout the Detroit area. And the trick here is to do this without producing local impacts that are negative. And people are very sensitive to diesel trucks and so forth. However, the technology is there, or almost there, to provide induction charging so that we can use electric, maybe hybrid to begin with, but I think electric trucks, the tractors that can move off the road. This is not on road, but in a network associated with the rail corridors that we have here, from one area to another, and make this a global state-of-the-art. Nobody ever thought of having such a great facility as what we can build in Southeast Michigan. My estimation, and this is still rough because we need funding to be able to really look into the details, is for this project right here is $4.85 billion. That $4.85 billion will create nearly 75,000 direct jobs. 40,000 of those are in Michigan. There are jobs in construction and utilities. There are 4,700 of those jobs would be in Michigan. That means there's a lot of other activity that gets, components that get built and so forth that we can anticipate may be built elsewhere. But the economic impact will be in this area overall. It'll create more manufacturing jobs. And because we are the center of the Midwest, the new center of the North American Midwest, that will create jobs in all states, which makes us of great value to all the other states and to Canada. It's going to create a whole bunch of jobs in services, as you see, nearly 20,000. And it's a tremendous impact. That impact is doubled, incidentally, because of the assumed approximate multiplier of 2 in macroeconomic terms. We're talking about 150,000 jobs. Now, there's another project which is in process and underway, really a great development led by Wayne County's executive Bob Ficano, which is the Aerotropolis. And the Aerotropolis is an attempt to make Michigan a global center associated with our access to the airport. And the airport's an incredibly important resource. We have the best airport in North America. There isn't really any question about that. And we need to take advantage of that. And we have an airport system because we have more than one airport. And those are all accessible through there. The Airtropolis has been analyzed by the Wayne County folks who are involved in doing this, and I'm incorporating that analysis into here so you can get the picture of the size of this. The economic impact analysis goes from east of Detroit Metro Airport to the western border of Ypsilanti. That's part of how it includes Willow Run. It incorporates both these airports and includes I-94, I-275, along with 3 of these 4 Class 1 railroads that are present in this region. The economic impact of construction alone over 30 years for this project is estimated at $75 million in wages and $177 million in new economic activity and about 1,500 jobs. But the economic impact of operation is much more important. So that's $3.75 billion in wages and over $10 billion in new economic activity, and another 65,500 jobs. And so what I want to do now is to summarize this so you kind of have this whole big picture. What we have is our summary of our assets. We have a river crossing that's the most valuable river crossing in North America. We have a rail infrastructure, which is the most systematic and dense rail infrastructure in North America. We have highway infrastructure, which also is the most ideal in North America. We have a global airline hub for passengers and freight. And of course, we have the St. Lawrence Seaway and Great Lakes shipping to add to the value in this region. And to summarize this, we have the Michigan Global Gateway that's my conception of this project, and it should grow our logistics sector to match that of other hub cities. And when we do that, we grow the number of jobs that we have in that sector, we'll start seeing the impact in terms of overall jobs, and it's going to feed right straight back into manufacturing for reasons I said before, because it provides the greatest ability to get to and from global markets. The lowest landed cost of transportation asset is the most valuable asset you can have in your region. The Airtropolis is the other component, linking air transport to Michigan's gateway to maximize the value of our transportation assets. The goal is to turn Michigan into North America's premier freight transportation hub and to reduce freight costs to strengthen manufacturing. And I think that this paradigm shift can be conservatively estimated to create something in the neighborhood of 215,000 new jobs. Now, this is a major change. It's hard to guess how many changes are going to happen as the ripples develop throughout the economy, but it can be the most important engine, and if we're going to see the auto manufacturing industry come back and get to the world in a global economy and help it do so, we're going to help it do so by building this infrastructure, by making this systematic project work, and making Southeast Michigan, actually, as I say, the center for North American economy. And so that's pretty much the summary, and I'd be glad to answer any questions.